Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. You're looking at the T92 HMC, the Tier 10 American SPG, located on the south spawn of Cliff. This one is under the command of johanonperkele of the MUSEO clan. Yes, I got it right this time. I got it wrong the last time. I thought it was mused, not museo. Game on. Well, it sounds like they've got skill as the commander, and a lot of players are using his voice command. In fact, actually, it was one of the things that Wargaming lobbied for. Wargaming? World of Tanks, I should say, lobbied for. We actually wanted most of the streamers to actually have their own voice ID and their own icons, so you could actually have your favourite streamer as the crew commander. Wargaming actually did take notice of this. In fact, there is a stream where even Sircon said that he would be happy to come in and do the voice files so that people could have his voice as a commander. Rounds out in the ST2. Good hit! Now, one of the things that johanonperkele is doing, which I really do approve of, is he moves straight away, even though he kept looking at the enemy's fall of shell. He actually changed position laterally, and that means he's less likely to be counter batteried. There's also another threat, and I think most of you have actually heard about this now, but if you haven't, I'll explain. Max Simpson, one of the streamers, has actually worked out how to kill an enemy Arty with blind hits. I just saw the tracer from the enemy SPG. It's slightly over to the left, but you can see he's already started to move. And he's just killed the Object 261 with a blind shot based on the tracer. But that's what Simpson does, actually. Simpson, who really doesn't like Baby Shark. So if you play that to him, he doesn't like it, but you can play it to him on his stream. He actually has learned to follow the tracer back to the point of origin in his tank, and then using the cursor, he marks out where the spot is and shoots at it. And he's had a lot of success. So there are certain maps, and I'm afraid Cliff is one of them. If he manages to get into a firing position... Oh, he's just got the next one! He just killed the last enemy Object 261, and that means he's got a counter battery medal for killing both enemy SPGs, and now they can have an Arty-free game. But that's what Simpson's doing, you see. He's actually trying to make it Arty-free for the tanks by doing it in his tank. He does play Arty. He has played Arty in the past. In fact, I seem to recall I've seen him with a 2-marked M53, M55. So we can't say he doesn't play Arty. He just doesn't like getting hit by Arty when he's in a tank, and he does get hit quite a lot. Well, this is a 24-centimeter howitzer capable of doing 1,100 output with the standard HE, the stun, 16 millimeters of pen, and 12.5 meters burst radius, and 14 to 35 seconds of stun. And you can see there's lots of enemy tanks there grouping together, which makes them very vulnerable. T100 LT just went down to a Death Star on our team. And there goes another one. And that was the 268 taken out by a Doom Turtle. Tier 10 game with Tier 10 tanks only. Is that Doom Turtle that killed him? No, I think it may have been actually a chieftain, but he's just killed another one. He's just taken out the Viz 55 with that last shot. Now, the way that Simpson, as I said, he traces back the tracer to where it started. So if you shoot, you should move immediately, because if Simpson's in the game, and he doesn't anonymize all the time, in fact, he does tend to play with his own name, but if he does anonymize, then you should watch out for any enemy tank that sits up in a place where he can actually see where our Artys are located. And of course, you know that we can be anywhere between K1 all the way up to K5. In fact, we can even go into the sniper's nest. And I've seen Arty go and do that. But yes, he knows how to trace back where the trace is coming from and fire blind. Now, the most dangerous positions for an enemy tank to be in is in G3, up on that little heights where you can look down onto this area, or anywhere around the south on the G line, on the south of the donut area. And if you see an enemy tank sitting around there trying to snipe, it could be Simpson. So do watch out if you do see that, and pay attention, try and do some damage. Well, 230 hit points from a near miss. Shows how deadly this 24cm howitzer is. It is the biggest gun in the game, if you take the term gun loosely, because it is a howitzer, not a gun as such. But it is the biggest gun as such. Biggest caliber, that's the best way of putting it. Technically, people would say, oh, well, it's not the biggest gun because that's the 183mm you find on the Death Star, or the Heshbarn, or any of the other tanks that have that 183. But technically, that is a howitzer that's been repurposed. It's a 7.2-inch howitzer that's been repurposed. Johanna's doing quite well so far. Not a lot of stun assists, but he is getting damage. And of course, what's more important, he's got that counter battery, and of course 3 kills so far. He's actually trying to get a shell into that EBR. It's not so difficult, not so easy rather. But there is a Jaegeru gone up onto the sniper's nest, which is the worst possible place for a Jaegeru. Anybody can shoot at the sides of you when you're up there, because you are a prominence, and he's taking damage. Rounds out. Let's have a look. Well, that's pretty final. He's out the game. Yeah, worst place for a Jaegeru is up on the sniper's nest. You really shouldn't go up there. It's not safe. No, I do like the way that johanonperkele is changing position virtually every shot. Most heavy tier or high tier Arty do actually have a lengthy reload, and that gives you plenty of time to actually relocate to a new position. And that was the end of the game. It's all over. It's a victory. Here's the end of battle results, and that was a second-class tanker for johanonperkele in the T92 HMC. He managed to get a fighter badge for taking out at least 4 enemy vehicles. He actually got 4 exactly. He also got a counter-battery fire medal for taking out both enemy SPGs in the game, at least 2. Of course, if there's all of the enemy SPGs are in the game, if there's 3, then you'd have to take out all 3 to get the counter-battery fire. And, of course, he also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 6. His win rate was Unicum standard, 2,450 out of that one, which is very good indeed. Well, it's over very good. It is Unicum standard. Let's have a look at the team score. Didn't get the highest damage in the game. In fact, he didn't get a lot of stun assist either, but he certainly had an effect upon the battle. The highest scorer was the T95 FE4201. That was the one where I thought it was the Doom Turtle who killed him. No, it wasn't. It was the Chieftain lookalike, the T95 FE4201 Chieftain. He got 3,856 hit points. Second highest damage went to the Doom's Death Star, the 3,230 for the FE215B183. And 3,157 hit points for the Object 452K. The highest the enemy team managed to get was their AMX-30B with 2,315, and we can see that johanonperkele actually beat that with 2,344 hit points of damage. But we can see here as well that he's actually in 7th place on his own team, so that is the actual figure, because if he's got more hit points than the winner on the enemy team, it's 7th place for him on his own team. When it came to kills, though, he got the high spot. Yes, he is number 1 when it comes to kills. He got 4. 3 kills went to the Death Star. 2 kills went to the T95 FB4201 and the Object 907. And the enemy team only got 4 kills, and they only got 1 apiece. When it came to base XP, he's in 4th place because the top scorer was the Chieftain with 1,015. In fact, he's the only player to get over 1,000 base. 999 went to the other Chieftain, 834 went to the Object 907, and then we've got johanonperkele with 801. He fired only 9 rounds in that game, but he made them work for him. In fact, he went straight to the counter battery, as you saw, right away to try and get rid of the enemy Arty. He knows, of course, that the Object 261 is actually quite a fast firer. So it does actually, because it loads fast and it's got that 18cm howitzer. So they try to pump their shells out as quickly as they can, which makes it fairly easy to spot the tracer, actually. And of course, those guys went down to the most obvious firing position, which was on the western part of the map, the northwest corner. where, yeah, they hide behind the bushes, but it's not always the best place to go. You are actually much better off if you move about quite a bit during the game. In fact, it might even be better off sometimes actually staying near the spawn point and firing your first few shells from there and then changing position afterwards, but at least keep on the move so that the enemy cannot work out exactly where you are. He got 4 direct hits in that game, 2 penetrating shots, and 6 splash. Well, let's have a look and see which ones he actually penetrated. I suspect it's the 261s. Yep, that was a one-shot penetration, 460 hit points. He went down straight away, and it was the other object, 261, 510 hit points of damage to him, and 1 shot, and he went straight down. So very good shooting indeed on those. 2,344 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 6 of the enemy, killed 4, so no chance of getting a Confederate, I'm afraid. But 306 hit points of stun assist off only 4 stuns. On a premium count, he actually made a profit of 19,677 credits. He got 5 bonds because this was tier 10. And he also took away 1,201 experience points out of the game as well. Very, very good on that. 2 shots, 2 kills, and he made it Arty free for our team. And from there on, it was actually quite easy for them to get the win. Now, you know, talking about Simpson again, we don't feel anything bad about him. He's not doing anything wrong. In fact, actually, I think it's rather clever of him to do what he does. And I admire his determination to take down the Arty brethren. But I also think that he's actually being very Arty unsafe, which is probably why he keeps getting killed by Arty. And I'm building up a large number of videos of when he does get killed, because he obviously he doesn't rage quit, but he obviously shows his rage every time he does get hit. So I think actually there's a lesson to learn for him as well. It's how to avoid getting hit by Arty. And I could certainly put a soundtrack to his replays of him getting killed to actually say where he went wrong. And he may actually learn from that. But all the same, all I'm trying to do is inform people in the Arty network that there is a way of avoiding getting hit by and taken out by Max, because yes, that's his name. There is a way of avoiding getting killed by Max, and that's actually to be unpredictable. Move after you've shot. Try to keep an eye on what's happening to your shell, because of course we want to see how effective you are when you're shooting, but try to move immediately after you've fired so that you can avoid his shell coming in to hit the spot where you fired from. Hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.